All in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, everyone.
That's great. Russell, saw you there.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chair, and good morning, councillors. This is the financial report for the period ended February. So for year to date, look, I'll pretty much take the report as read and just highlight a couple of items, if that's okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
So for year to date, we've got an operational surplus of $12.8 million, which is $14.1 million better than budget year to date. That's projected to be, by year end, be $5.1 million ahead of budget before carry forwards or before likely carry forwards. So what's driving that in the revenue space? We've got waste operations, consenting revenues, rec and sport participation is higher, some higher increase in our rating base growth. These have been consistent messages from previous months. Expenditure is lower than budget, but expected to be higher than budget by year end, hence the forecast is not going to be so high at year end, mainly around the timing of grant payments and some maintenance works. And the staff cost is forecast to be like it's a surplus, and that'll decline a small amount over the year, still be in surplus, ahead of budget. Capital position, so gross capital is $393 million, head of against a year-to-date budget of $450, almost $460 million. So we're projecting total capital budget of 667 against a forecast of 716 million. So that's a $49 million variance, and we'll cover more of that in the following report. And the Treasury Convention covenants report that they're all in within policy is at the end of the month as well. Look, I'm happy to take any questions, Mr. Chair.
That's great. Thank you for that, Russell. Yanni?
Yeah, thank you. I'm particularly interested, if it's possible, to get a breakdown about where the staff vacancies are, recognising that for some of us, there's been a frustration that we don't seem to have resourcing, like, for example, in the planning department, to do the things that we've committed to do as a council. So is it possible to understand where the staff vacancies are and what departments are being impacted by that in terms of their work programs?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yeah, we can come back with that information, Councillor. We're probably running at about 10% and have done for quite some time, staff vacancies. Does vary depending, but we can come back with perhaps a report which would highlight where the variances are. Understanding that's just a point in time. So when we'll do that, it'll be as at the time we run the report.
If there's things that we've agreed to do that we can't do because we don't have the resourcing for staff, are there other ways that we can get that work done in a timely fashion if we've got the additional budget?
I'm just thinking, I think good points, but we've got Anne Columbus starting, if she hasn't already, relatively soon in terms of being our new head of people. I wonder whether that's the appropriate time to raise these. So we can take the feedback away, but Russell and the team might be able to feed that back to Anne.
Yeah, because I think what happened at the last meeting was I raised concern that we had a big surplus, and we've got things like in planning that we're supposed to do that we're not doing because of PC14. And then I was told that the end of year surplus was probably, I think, going to be about 500,000. But now we're looking at like the operational surplus being quite a lot more than that, which would indicate that we do have some capacity to spend some money on doing some of the things that we might want to do that we've agreed.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just clarification. So I said the end of year forecast is about $5.1 million. That's before likely carry forwards. Once they come into play, we're at this stage we're looking at about 400,000.
I think that was the point they made last month as well, was that it's too early in the year, weirdly, even though it's March, to land on what our surplus will be. And then at that point, if we need to carry something forward, we could. So, okay, does anyone else have any questions? No? Tyrone looks like he's here to move this. And Tyler looks excited to second it. Any discussion? All in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.